Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. It is Thursday, so happy Thursday. We're getting super close to the weekend already. Um, Today's video, kind of special, kind of awesome. This video is a viewer submission. I'm not sure because I didn't message to see whether or not they were okay with me sharing their name. Um, they will see this. They will know that this is their video. If they choose down in the comment section to announce that it was them, I'll pin that comment to the top. This way, anybody who likes this video or wants to give any advice for this duelist on how to maybe trim this down a little bit and make this even more efficient, that'd be great. I will do that. But this list is a 30 card list. This won their locals, and honestly, it's like having 3 different decks in one. Though, like the more I read through this, like the crazier all the interplay is. It gives them multiple avenues to play their match, which is honestly a great idea. And it's using some tech that is understandably good and kind of leads into like some decks I've been thinking about building for a little while now. So, without any other further ado, let's get this deck, right? So we're going to be using the Shadow Rider Albedos the third skill card. At the start of the duel, flip this card over. So this was like my least favorite skill out of that set, but it's going to have a purpose today. So apply the following. Once per turn, you can send one level 2 zombie from deck to graveyard and place one first, second, or third sarcophagus from deck, grave, or that is banished face up in your spell and trap zone. This is treated as being placed by the effect of the first sarcophagus. Additionally, each spirit of the Pharaoh you control gains attack equal to the number of Pharaoh's servant and pharaonic protectors, either on your side of the field or in your graveyard times 900. Now, keep a track of that number, because that number is going to mean something. It's really going to be able to get us up to a much stronger character. So, we're going to do that, and obviously we have to go through the engines as they were. So it's a bit abbreviated on this. There are 2 copies of Spirit of the Pharaoh, and the way the Spirit of the Pharaoh is, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by the first sarcophagus trap card. When is special summoned, you may target up to 4 level 2 or lower zombie normal in the graveyard and special summon those targets. Now, that's not terrible. We do have a couple of targets today. And again, since this is just a sub-engine, one of each, Pharaonic Protector and Pharaoh's Servant, both 900 by 0 2 stars, will be added to today's build. It keeps the engine nice and small, and when we get to the spell and traps, you're going to see that we only use 1 copy of each of the 3 sarcophagus. What the point here is to go first and try to generate all 3 sarcophagi just as quickly as possible. Because again, remember, it doesn't matter if the Pharaoh's Servant and the Pharaonic Protector make their way back. What's going to happen is you're going to get that 18 plus this. It's like 4,300 or something like that as a just generalized beat stick. And that's the first strategy of the deck. The second strategy is something I like a little bit better. It's a little bit of red eyes. So what you need to have is 2 black metal dragons. When these are in your hand, you may target a red eyes monster that you control. Equip this monster from your hand or the field, I guess it can work from the field, to that target. The target then gains a quick 600 attack. And if this card is sent from your side of the field to the graveyard, you may add 1 red eyes card from your deck to your hand. So this actually works for multiple reasons, and this is going in a deck I'm building for next week anyway. We want to use this in combination with Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight. Number 1, he's super searchable, 4-star warrior. You guys understand how reinforcement of the army works. Second, he's going to be equipped, kind of leads into his whole effect. So what is that effect? Once per turn, if either player equips cards to this card, you can destroy those cards. Then destroy 1 spell and trap the opponent controls. So this is going to be how we mitigate our opponent's back row. And then, of course, this is going to lead into the rest of the Black Metal Dragon's effect. It's going to be great. Additionally, once per turn, you can send one equipped card you control that is equipped to this card to the graveyard. Then target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in the graveyard, special summoning that target. Now, this is going to get kind of nuts, because at one point, the first one is going to allow us to grab any Red Eyes card, which could be the next card, or it could be the card after that. It could be another copy of this. It just can never be a Black Metal Dragon. It's going to allow us to tear into our opponent's background, and then we do have that other once per turn. It's a secondary effect. But what we could do is, if we've had to discard a copy of Red Eyes, or maybe it got defeated, we could additionally make sure to summon another copy of Red Eyes through this. So again, this is kind of cool, kind of crazy. I love it. Next card will be 3 copies of the Red Eyes Baby Dragon. So for those of you unfamiliar with this one, because it's kind of new to the format, and maybe you don't follow Red Eyes as much, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck. If you do, equip this card from the graveyard to it. Again, this can search and play and equip Gearfried and get you straight into being able to pop that spell trap on your opponent's turn during their battle phase. If it does, it gains 300 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 1 dragon from the deck or grave and add that to your hand. This allows us to play back the Black Metal Dragon. So keeping these dragons in mind with the whole equipment theme and going forward with the Gearfried, you get some really cool plays, and you're able to juggle a single copy of Red Eyes. So you have a small engine that allows you to get into a beat stick. You have a slightly larger engine that allows you to be the beat stick while taking out your opponent's cards and having cards that are acting as equipped that should not be acting as equipped, and a quick way to throw them away, so this way you can get to your sarcophagus plays. Now, the rest of it plays based off vampires, and as you guys know, competitively speaking, vampires is pretty much where it's at and has been for a minute, and it's just good stuff. So to kind of, not to brief over it, but to get into it, you want to use 3 copies of Familiar. If special summon, pay 500, add a vampire monster from deck to hand with a different name. If this is in your graveyard, you can send a vampire card from the hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to special summon this, but if you do, banish this when it leaves the field. Each effect is a hard once per turn. It is good. Next up, good old Vampire Lord. And I did think about, can we get some focus here? Let's just move the camera, see what happens. Do this. There we go. If this inflicts battle damage to the opponent, you declare a card type, monster, spell, trap. They send 1 from their deck to the discard. And then once per turn during your next standby phase after this, in your possession, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect. Special summon this back from the graveyard. So again, people using hammer shot, stuff like that, running into widespread ruin. This is actually good because Vampire Lord will come back. And he'll do things. Now, I did think about putting in my ultra rare just because I still have one. But I like the look of all common, and this deck was something I could do all common, so I went that route. Next up, you are going to be playing 3 copies of the Vampire Retainer. Now, the reason Vampire Retainer is so good is, again, when special summon, pay 500, add Vampire Spell Trap from deck to hand. If it's in graveyard, send 1 vamp from hand or face up on field to special summon it. Banish it when it leaves the field. Each effect, again, hard once per turn. Just really allows you to get your tribute out to play into the V-Lord and to juggle your cards. Next up, one of the best packages for spot removal. 3 copies of DD Warrior Lady, so we're finally touching onto the limitations list. And it just so happens we do it right at the end of the monster list. Huge monster lineup, but think about it. For the most part, you're trying to play the sarcophaguses or sarcophagi. So in this aspect, it kind of needs to be monster heavy. A DD Warrior Lady, one of those best set it and forget it type little trap tricks that just allow you to just, you attacked with that one, cool, I'm going to banish mine and yours, we're good. To further that strategy, they added 2 copies Reinforcement of the Army. Now, this is good. because it doesn't just work for the DD Warrior Lady. This is a great in to the Gearfried route as well. So if you have a stronger line going towards the dragon plays than you do anything else, maybe go towards the dragons, let everything else follow. And again, this could allow you to just take the game real quick. Of course, you're going to need second and third sarcophagi. They can just be played by the first sarcophagus, so we'll go over that effect when we get to it. The last spell card is going to be one copy of the Vampire's Desire. So you activate one of the following. Target a monster that you control, send a vampire from your deck to the graveyard with a different level, and if you do, the targeted monster becomes the level the level of the sent monster in the graveyard until the end of this turn. This will matter later. Like, I can see vampires being very successful once we get into the Synchro era, but we want to target a vampire in the graveyard and one monster that we control in the graveyard. If we do special summon the vampire, send one that we control to the graveyard to special summon the vampire. Okay, gotcha. And this is good because, like, sometimes you don't need to have both of the Pharaonic cards as far as the Pharaoh's Servant and the Pharaonic Protector. So this is a good way to, again, since the skill card's going to let us get the power whether or not they're on the field, it's a good way to get one of those and just put V-Lord back on the field. It raises your bottom line as a player while giving you more options. Going into the traps, we're going to start with the first sarcophagus, since it was the first section of the deck. Once per turn during the opponent's end phase, place one copy of second, and after you've done that, third from hand and or deck into the spell trap zone, face up. Then if you control all three, send all to grave, special summon one Spirit of the Pharaoh from the hand or deck. If any of these cards, including this card, leave the field, send all of them you control to the graveyard, including this card. Not terrible. I do wish, because I don't think, yeah, the other ones have to come from hand or deck. So it does get a little iffy. Plus, you don't have a ton of ways to play it. So I almost like the fact that you have the red eyes and the zombies. And I would almost maybe eliminate the Spirit of the Pharaoh. But I also notice you got to send all three to play one. But we've got two Spirit of the Pharaohs. We can play that from the hand. Just feels like there could have been another card that helped you get to where you wanted to go. So I don't know. Maybe. Additionally, you had a copy of Vampire Awakening. Good stuff here. Special summon a vampire from the deck. Destroy it during the end phase. You can only activate one of these per turn. This is a great way to generate a quick monster to the field. And again, it's a good thing. You do that into Familiar, pay the 500, get to the Lord, tribute summon real quick. It's like really good, and you don't have to worry about, well, am I going to lose my card at the end of the turn? Because no. And then last up, you did have a copy of Zoma to round out your limitations. And I think by this point, we all know why Zoma is amazing. So just real quick, this is the main deck. Everybody, go ahead and screenshot or go ahead, pause and make the notes. I think I hit every note that was given to me. So with that said, I'm going to clear the board, and then we're going to get into the 6-card side deck. And then we'll wish you guys well for the day, okay? So just one moment, please. All right, my friends, and we're back. So there is no extra deck today. There is a side deck. So this is weird. It's 2 videos in a row, no side deck, or no extra deck, but it's good. So first and foremost, he had one copy, Destiny Hero Doomlord. So just a couple of things real quick. If you go back through the main stack, or you guys go back to your screenshot, this guy's totally searchable. 3-star warrior, definitely a rota target. And he's got that pinpoint precision control that just makes side deck cards feel real. Once per turn, target monster the opponent controls, banish it. You cannot declare an attack the turn you activate this effect. You must control this face-up attack position card to activate and resolve it. The banished monster returns to the opponent's field during your second standby phase after activation. So again, not terrible. It's got a good balance between what it can do and what it should be doing, whatever. It's a good card. Okay. I wish it was just a hair better, but it's already really good. One copy, Red Eyes Wyvern. Once per turn during the end phase, you banish this card from your graveyard. Target a Red Eyes monster in your graveyard. Special summon the target. You cannot normal summon set during the turn you activate this. Special summons would be fine. And it is from the graveyard. So it's, again, it's not a bad card, but it is insistent on the Red Eyes side of things. Next up, and this is very cool, 2 copies of Vampire Hunter. It is searchable. Again, we can reinforcement of the army for this guy. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a dark monster, destroy it. There are so many dark attribute cards that are just really good out there right now. And Vampire Hunter will do some of the best anti against it. And again, it says battles. So this could be the opponent attacking us. It could be us attacking them. Either way, it's okay. It's all good. Next up, we do have the Vampire's Curse. He's the battle equivalent of the Vampire Lord. When this is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you pay 500. Special summon it during the standby phase of the next turn. And if you do, it gains 500 attack. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, because I know that you guys are just a bit more serious than the casual duelist is. Let me know on this effect. The next standby phase would be my opponent's standby phase if it's my turn. And if it's their turn, it comes back during my standby. It's just whatever is the next turn is what I'm reading. But I want to be 100% sure. I want to reach out to the crowd and have you guys source me the answer. And they did throw in one card specifically because of me. They threw in a copy of Waking the Dragon. It's a very unpredictable card, as they put it. And again, this is one of those moments where I was like, they did not submit an extra deck. So again, you could put in a bunch of good stuff cards that all have a reason to be in here, as well as knowing that you could play into the Red Eyes at any time. But again, anytime you could play into Red Eyes, I'd much rather get something that's stronger, that has better effect, much stronger, has a piercing, may not be as strong, but is more tactical, or is one of the strongest cards in the game. So this is always an option because this was here, but this was not part of their deck. So I'm going to take that back off the table. My first thought is I see Waking the Dragon. The only advice I would really give you is I would probably trim out the Ancient Ruler portion. I think it was cool. And during playtesting, I got it off quite a few times more than I thought I was going to. So I mean, I get what you're doing. I see why you played it that way. But it just feels like there's a miss having this trap in here and not bringing a sideboard to the table. I do think that the second Spirit of the Pharaoh is unnecessary. I don't see a reason in having two, since it can only be played by the effect of the first sarcophagus, and the first sarcophagus says it has to send them all to get the special summon off. So through that, I would just eliminate that down to 1. It gives you a free spot. You could either leave it as a 29 card deck, or you can add another card in, which would be fine. If so, maybe go with like a Blast with Chain or something. I don't know. You do have the Gear Freed in there, and I'd love to see you get the double destruction of being able to either target 2 cards in the back row or take a monster while taking the back row. I just like seeing the extra synergy happen. I'll promise to bring that to bear when I do my Red Eyes build next week. But yeah, this was a good deck. This was a great deck. I'm impressed that you got first in locals. But seeing like the tech choices you made, it makes sense. It really does. You did well. I really enjoyed your deck. I hope everybody else here does too. Like I said, if you want the credit, just go ahead, post on there. I know what your name is. You know what your name is. We'll go ahead. We'll pin it as the top comment. And anybody who has any respectful, let me say it that way, any respectful advice on how to make this, a bit more killer, let's have it. But for now, I hope to see you guys on Saturday. I do have another build. I got another Make a Tsunami build. I'm going to make a Tsunami kick right now. I want to do another Legendary Fisherman build, and I hope that you guys are into it, because that's what's coming up on Saturday. So till then, my friends, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and hope to see you guys on the weekend. Later.